Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're seeing this. My name is Tolu Lokwe and I'm the founder of Omi Cleanse. This experience I'm about to share with you is something that happened to me yesterday and nothing compares to it. It's the most terrifying, disturbing, heart wrenching experience I've ever had since I've been in the business. So I'm going to start from the beginning, the very beginning. I'm going to start from Friday evening. So Friday night stroke evening. We were to go for a job on Saturday and the client was a bit hesitant. She eventually concluded the transaction with me around 12, exactly 11:58 p.m. Friday night. That was when she sent the money. So after then, and I'm an early sleeper, latest by 8, 9, I'm already in full sleep. But after the transaction, I could not sleep because I had menstrual cramps. Throughout the night, I couldn't sleep till 5 a.m. in the morning when my husband woke up and was tending to me. We were to go for the job around leave by 7 a.m. So I already sent her a notice of visit to tell her what time she should expect my team. So as soon as it was 7, I was ready. By 7:20, my team members already got to the some of the team members already got to the location. So I was expecting one of them to come join me because of his proximity to where we're going, so it would be easy for him to get there. By 7:40, he did not come, and by 7:45, I decided to start going, and maybe he would come meet us there. We got to the site. Before we got to the site, about 3 minutes to the time that would get there, I called the client because actually my apartment is not far from the location. So I called the client to let her know we're already on our way and she should please get ready and come meet us with the key or something. So we got there before 8, but by 8 we were already well settled waiting for her. We waited for her for about 2 hours with constant calls. She said she was close. Long story short, 2 hours, 10 minutes was when she came and delivered the key to us. While we were waiting, during the 2 hours time, I told my team members I sent one of them to go get drinks because I could see that they were already we actually could not see somewhere comfortable to stay. So we were all outside the sun and everything. So I sent one of them to get them drinks, at least to increase their sugar level and get them still energized. We got them the drink, and eventually, when the clients came, we started working. We started working by 10 a.m. in the morning, and I assigned them to what they were supposed to do. After about 40 minutes of being with them, I headed out because I needed to send something to my mom at the park. So when I got home, I spent about an hour plus at home and I called them. So before I left, we played a game, and my promise was whoever wins the game, I would get them lunch. But nobody won. I decided to I decided to still buy them the lunch anyways. So after about an hour of me being at home, I called I called them. So after I had gotten home, an hour plus, I called all of them. No one was responding. I called the person whom I sent the drinks earlier because I knew he would be able to go get them lunch as I already decided in my mind I was going to get them. He was unresponsive. Eventually, I called another person who picked, and he told me the person who I sent drinks in the morning had left the his workstation for more than an hour. So basically, he left almost immediately. I left, and he has not been able to reach him. So immediately I left the house. I could not even go to the park anymore. I left the house. Bear in mind that I had been trying his number for a couple of times that he didn't pick, but I thought it was just not with his phone because he was busy. So I went back to the site, met with the other team members who were working, and we started calling his number. He did not pick. We called him for about 20 times yesterday. The phone rang all through. He has two numbers. We called the two numbers. They rang all through. He did not pick. So he came with one of his friends who they stayed together was with him yesterday. They came to work together. So he had already looked around for him in the in the building. He could not find him. So I told the friend to please come with me. Let's go look around for him. Does he drink? Does he smoke? No. That was what the friend told me. So we looked around, we entered into the streets, started looking from shop to shop to see if he was there. Then eventually we got to a shop close to the building where we were cleaning. We saw him lying down on the chair on the bench. The only thing that signaled life in him was the fact that he was breathing. I'm not very good with science stuff, so I can't say. I don't even know if I should say he was unconscious. He was breathing, but he was not responding. The closest description to his state was the videos of people who are high on whatever that I see online. You'd call them, call them, call them, very unresponsive. So the women in the shop told us he had been there for over an hour on their bench, unresponsive. He came to get water and it just after getting the water, he came barefooted, bought the water and he just laid on the chair and that was it. On the bench and that was it. So we tried to wake him up, gave him another drink, called him, beat him. So one thing is when you pinch him, he opens his eyes and closes it again. No more responses, not talking, nothing. So eventually we took him to the apartment where the building where we were cleaning, tried to pour water on him. The women suggested that we go pour water on him. So we did the same thing, nothing was working. We tried to open his phone. So the friend now told me that this is something that had been happening to him every now and then, at least once a month, that situation happens. And after a while, after jerking him and doing all sorts, he comes back. He comes to. So one of the things we tried while we were trying to resuscitate him yesterday was to try and get in touch with his family members. His phone was locked. I removed one of his SIM cards to put into my phone if we could get any contact. That was all to no avail. The friend kept reassuring me that it is something that happens to him, but it will come after much shaking, pouring water, beating, and everything. It would come back to consciousness. We tried this for about an hour. Nothing was happening. I just told him, okay, you know what? I have to take him to the hospital. So we got a vehicle to take him to the hospital. The gateman of the apartment where we were cleaning was actually the one who led us to the hospital where we eventually took him. When we got to the hospital, the doctors came downstairs to the vehicle to check his pulse and they saw that he was breathing. But they actually thought he was in coma because of how bad he was looking. So we took him upstairs. They I should commend those doctors, the people of that hospital. I think the name of the hospital is Ayo Radex or something. They they attended to him immediately. Unlike everything I've seen online, I've never been to the hospital before to treat myself or to. Okay, I've only been to the hospital once before to to treat someone else, and it wasn't that serious. So I don't really know how it works, but unlike everything I've seen online, these people in this hospital actually attended to him immediately without even talking about money. It was when they were done attending to him that the nurses now came to me to tell me, okay, you're going to pay so fee for card and all those things. I said it's fine. So after 30 minutes of being in the hospital, he regained consciousness. He sat up, and all this while was going to around 3 p.m. Remember, my team members were still um, cleaning the apartment where we went to work. So they were still there and I was still monitoring them. The friend who came with him also came to the hospital with me, and so we just waited at the hospital and just for him to be very fine. We ran some tests, some scans, and we realized that he had very high malaria, very high typhoid, no sugar in his blood at all. According to the doctor, they said the sugar in his liver was what they saw. That the sugar in his liver was what they saw when they ran the tests. So all this was going on. I was still monitoring the team members who were working at the site where we left. So around 5 p.m., the scan and the test results were out. That was when they told us what exactly was wrong with him. All the while he was placed on drip, and so the initial bill was about 18.5 for the card and all of those things. And then later, after the whole treatment, they gave another bill of 35,000. I feel like Jesus. Hospital people, that's what they do for you. I can laugh about it now, but yesterday it was not funny at all. But after a little discussion with the doctor, they decided to reduce it to 25,000. The first question I asked them was, what was the first 18.5 for? But anyways, and then so around 6, so around at 5, when the drip was eventually removed from him and they interpreted the results, the test result, I started trying to send money to the hospital. I had already sent the first 18.5, and then the second one I wanted to send. You know how the network has been so bad. I tried OPay, it didn't work. Money Point, it didn't work. Kuda did not work. I think Zenith also did not work till I eventually had to contact the client. Maybe she had another bank that she could use. So she used another bank. After a lot of trying to, she was now the one who eventually helped me send the money to the hospital. So around 6, we eventually left the hospital. He was discharged, and they told him to go for, well, he was discharged because he said he did not want to stay in the hospital. So they told him to go for a proper treatment and not wait, and not just go to any chemist where they just prescribe a random drug to him. So as they left for the house, I went back to the site. When I got to the site, I was expecting that at least by 6 they would have been done, or probably like there wouldn't be any major thing left to do. Because what I didn't mention is the apartment is a 2-bedroom flat, and I took 5 people. If you're into cleaning, or if you know about the business, you know that 5 people for a 2-bedroom flat is too much. But I'm that kind of person. I want us to finish early, and I don't want the guys to stress too much. So, but by then, when the person at the hospital became sick and all, they were reduced to 3. So I waited, and the client also later came. Two things that I've taken away from this experience. Number one, you're going to include in our terms of service, because this is how this are the this is one of the experiences that form the things we write out in our terms and conditions. It is not just fancy grammar put together. It is they come as a result of experiences from work. So the first one is that would put a time to our waiting period, because honestly, if we had started if we had started at the time that we were supposed to, the job would have actually gone really far before whatever happened. We ended up leaving the site around 8 p.m., past 8 actually, because I ended up getting home about 9:30 something. And the first meal of the day that I had it 9:43 p.m. For some reason, I'm someone who cries. Like, for some reason yesterday I was blank. I didn't know how to. I was blank because I didn't know how to feel. I didn't know if I was supposed to be scared, or if I was supposed to be sad, or if I was supposed to cry. The only emotion I remember feeling was being heartbroken. Being heartbroken when the guy, when he was on his way home and he told me that, ma, that he has 5,000 naira, that somebody just sent him 5,000 naira. If he could send me the 5,000 naira to support the bills. I felt really heartbroken for him, because you that you're you need to take care of yourself is someone that had to send you 5,000 naira. That was like the only feeling I actually can remember holding on to. But aside that, I should also mention this, for like 3 to 4 days now, my spirit has been my spirit has been giving me this nudge to pray in the spirit every night. I didn't understand it. For 5 15 minutes I'll just pray in tongues. You may not believe this, but now is when I'm now understanding that, okay, this is what God was trying to, because it could have been worse. The doctor actually said he was lucky that he was brought to the hospital when he was brought to the hospital. Anyways, this is one of those many low moments in business. And yes, we're going to have a policy against delay when it comes to gaining access to the, the client's building, or gaining access to the space where we need to clean, because it disrupts a lot. And then, as regards the health aspect of my team members, I'm on it. I've also gotten some ideas on what to do and how to prevent such situations in the future. If you have some advice, or whatever you like to add, please let me know in the comment section. Is this Did it change my mind about being in business? No, I just want to rest a little bit. If you have work, give us work. But I feel exhausted, but I'll be fine. Thank you for watching and for listening.